Good morning. This is Teresa Nikas, and I'll be your host for today's Quiet Echo episode. I want to talk about something close to home. Close to my desk specifically. The desk where I sit and put this paper together every week. Because what happened in Pittsburgh could happen here, and I need you to understand what you would lose. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette published its first edition in 1786. George Washington was still alive. The Constitution had not been written. For nearly 240 years, somebody in Pittsburgh opened a newspaper and learned what was happening in their city. Who was running for office, how the money was being spent, which building inspector looked the other way. In January, the owner announced the paper would publish its final edition May 3rd. Done. Pittsburgh's last remaining print daily. The owner cited more than $350 million in losses over 20 years. The newspaper guild said management chose to punish journalists rather than follow the law. I am not here to referee the labor dispute. I am here to tell you what disappears when the last newsroom in a city closes its doors. What disappears is the witness. I run a small paper. I know what a newsroom does because I am the newsroom most days. And what a newsroom does, what it has always done, is put a reporter in the room where public decisions are made and tell the community what happened. Not the press release version, not the summary a council member posts on social media the next morning. What actually happened? The vote at 10 p.m. when half the audience has gone home. The line item buried on page 47 of the school budget. The contract nobody bid on because nobody knew about it. When a reporter is present, people behave differently. Not because reporters are powerful. We are not. Because being watched changes behavior. Every parent knows this. Every teacher. Every public official who has ever looked up from a podium and seen somebody in the second row with a notebook open. You sit up straighter when someone is writing down what you say. You choose your words more carefully. You think twice before voting yes on something you cannot explain in the morning paper. Remove the reporter and the behavior changes, not overnight. Slowly. The way a house deteriorates when nobody is maintaining it. Research tells us what happens in communities after their newspaper closes. Government borrowing costs rise. Lenders see less oversight, more risk. County wages increase as a share of all wages. Voter turnout drops. Political polarization increases. These are not opinions. These are measured outcomes in peer-reviewed studies, and they make sense if you think about it for 5 seconds. When nobody is watching, the rules get looser. When the rules get looser, the money follows. People tell me the internet replaced the newspaper. I hear it at least once a month, and every time I hear it, I ask the same question. When was the last time you saw a blog post about the Cedar Valley Water Authority budget? The internet replaced the classifieds. It replaced the weather page and the box scores. Those are the parts of a newspaper you can get anywhere. What the internet did not replace, what it has never replaced, is the reporter who sits through a 4-hour planning commission meeting on a Tuesday night and writes it up so you do not have to attend yourself. Nobody is live streaming the zoning board hearing in a town of 6,000 people. Nobody is filing public records requests about the volunteer fire department's equipment fund. The internet gave us more information than any generation in history has ever had. And less journalism. Most people did not notice the difference until their local paper was gone. I am not pretending newspapers are blameless. Some failed to adapt to the digital world. Some were purchased by corporate chains and hedge funds who stripped the newsroom to pay down debt, cutting reporters the way a lumber company cuts old growth, fast and without replanting. The Post-Gazette situation is complicated. I will not assign all the fault to one side. Decline has many authors. But here is what I need you to hear. Fault and consequence are not the same conversation. Whatever combination of economics and bad decisions and corporate greed and changing habits caused the Post-Gazette to close, the consequence is identical. A city of 300,000 people loses its witness, and a city without a witness is a city where the powerful can do what they want because nobody with a notebook is in the second row. 2.5 newspapers close every week in this country. Since 2005, we have lost more than 300. More than 200 counties have no local news outlet at all. Not print, not digital, nothing. Northwestern University calls them information deserts. 55 million Americans live in communities with little or no access to local news. The word desert is right. Nothing grows there. Nobody is watching. I worry about the Cedar Valley News. Not today. Today we are here. I am at this desk. You are listening. But the economics pressing against every small paper in this country press against us too. Advertising revenue is a fraction of what it was. Subscriptions are harder to sell when people expect news to be free. The day this paper closes, if it closes, there will be no funeral. The press will just stop. The way it stopped in Pittsburgh, the way it has stopped in more than 2,000 communities before us. And the first thing you will lose is not my opinion column. You will lose the knowledge of what your own government did last Tuesday night. So, I am asking you something today, and I am asking it plainly. If your town still has a newspaper, read it, subscribe to it, argue with it, write a letter to the editor telling me I am wrong about something. I will print it, and I will be glad you cared enough to write. Disagreement is a sign of life, not a threat, but do not let your paper disappear while you are looking at your phone. Because the moment the last reporter leaves the room, the meeting does not stop. It just stops being recorded, and what is not recorded is, sooner or later, not remembered. This is Teresa Nikas from the editor's desk. Tomorrow, George Kahn is here with Community Voices. I will see you next Monday. Thanks for listening to today's Quiet Echo. This podcast is part of the fictional Cedar Valley news series, written by Evan Swenson, publisher, publication consultants, and Claude Marshall, AI developmental editor. While the people in town are fictional, the national events they reflect on are real. Want to know the full story behind Cedar Valley? Teresa, Caleb, Dan, and the community you've come to know in these editorials first came together in Quiet Echo. Discover how a small town found its way from fear to fellowship, one quiet act of courage at a time.
You've been listening to the Cedar Valley News Podcast, where small-town voices meet the headlines shaping our world. From faith and family to front porches and fields. We'll be back with more stories connecting real lives to real events. Until next time, keep your porch light on, your faith strong, and your heart open.